Welcome inside to Fair Park Coliseum. I'm Emily Ehman alongside Athletes Unlimited Volleyball rookie outside Dani Drews. Dani, we are now in the third week of this Athletes Unlimited Volleyball season, but I want to go back a little bit. I want to know, when was the first time that you wanted to be a professional volleyball player?
Yeah, honestly, going throughout my college career, it was something I kind of went back and forth, like, do I want to do this or not? And then by the time I got to like my extra senior year, because the COVID season and stuff, I just started thinking like, honestly, I think this is something like I'm getting pretty good at. Like maybe, I don't know, I want to see how far I can take this. And so, yeah, once I started to kind of feel that way, I just knew like, okay, the next step is to try and go play professional.
Was there a specific moment or game or conversation that you had where you knew that that was a possibility?
There was like some moments, like there was a summer kind of training block with USA with a bunch of other collegiate players, and going there and playing at a high level with all of like some of the best collegiate players around the country, I was just like, okay, this is something like I like this high level competition, like I want to keep getting challenged to keep getting better. So something like that. And then also just throughout the season this last fall, there was a lot of moments where I was like, okay, like I think I can do this, like, yeah.
Thinking back to your time with Utah, a four-time All-American, the career active kill leader there, how did your time with Utah playing for Coach Lanier help you get where you are now?
I think it was just a great preparation. I got a ton of repetition every game, every practice, because I did take a lot of swings there, carried a pretty big load there. And I think it really helped me grow as a player to learn to get better at everything, especially as an outside hitter. You got to pass, you got to defend, you got to be able to score as well. So I was given opportunities to work on things every single day in practice, and then every game. Playing in the Pac-12 was pretty competitive, so I felt like I was getting challenged to get better or to, I guess, just not win games. So it was, I think, a great opportunity to learn and grow and challenge myself as a player.
What was the number one skill you would say coming into college that you just got exponentially better at through your 5 years there?
I think serve receive, and it's something that I still need to get exponentially better at. You know, it's something that you need to continuously work on. But I think it's very common for young players in club or in high school to pay a lot of attention to hitting. Like you want to score points and you want to swing,
big kill,
jump high, hit hard. And I think something you learn going throughout college, that like passing is really so vital. And if you can be a good passer, you can be a good player and find your place on the court.
Let's talk about your path to Athletes Unlimited. You played for a few weeks in Poland. You came back and then you signed as the last player for Athletes Unlimited, Athlete 44. How did you end up here in Dallas?
Yeah, so honestly, everything has kind of just unfolded and worked out in a way that like I couldn't have planned it myself. I was in Poland, and then with the crisis happening with Ukraine and Russia and that conflict, for me it was just something like it was way too close to home for me. Being a rookie over there for my first season by myself, first time living out of the country. I felt like the best decision for myself, for my mental health, and also just for my family was to come home while all of that is still continuing to go on. And then after I got home, Athletes Unlimited contacted me, and I just kind of thought, I mean, hey, if I'm gonna be here, I don't want to miss out playing volleyball. And I think this is such a cool opportunity that we can still be in our home, like our home country, and be able to play here.
And you got here on media day, right? Drove straight in and then were kind of thrusted into the action?
Yeah, I did my like makeup as best I could in the car while we were driving here. Got dropped off, took my pictures, then got to the hotel, unpacked, and got ready for scrimmages the next day. So it was a really quick turnaround.
What were you feeling in those initial scrimmages? Were you nervous? Did you have excitement to play with all these players?
I think a combination of both, honestly. I was super excited because there's such good players here that I know I can learn so much from. And so I was definitely nervous because it's intimidating to play with some of like the best players to ever do it, you know? And I was also very excited and grateful just to, I think little things like being able to speak English with people on the court, just little things you take for granted, but And then also just to be able to have my husband here with me. They're doing such a great job of just making sure all of us can have our spouses or our partners and our children, or for me, my fur babies, like my dogs are here. So they're making us so comfortable here. Like we don't have to sacrifice anything to be able to still play, which is awesome.
I know that it seems like you're adjusting well. How are the dogs adjusting to being here?
Honestly, better than I could have hoped. I was a little nervous having two Vishlas in a hotel room. Could potentially sound like a nightmare, but honestly, like they just sleep when they're in the hotel, and then I found some dog parks really close by, so it's been working out.
Seems like a lot of the athletes here bring their dogs around, and it's like a fun little community for everyone to go and watch together and go to the dog park.
Exactly, yes, it's such a fun group. Like a lot of us do have dogs here, and all of the women here are just amazing, like players, but more importantly, people. So it's fun. Like we all want to be around each other and hang out outside of the court. So it's been really cool.
Coming in as a rookie, obviously the expectations are kind of unknown. You don't know how you're going to do. What were your expectations for yourself coming in?
Honestly, I tried to set no specific expectations for myself other than like I'm going to try and just play high-level volleyball and give to the team whatever I'm at. Like I didn't want to focus on any points on the scoreboard or anything like that. I just wanted to focus on bringing my top-level volleyball and helping those around me.
What does high-level volleyball mean to you?
I think having 100% effort and also being strategic with that effort. And then also just good level of execution, playing clean, playing smart, trying to score points for the team, and yeah, just help out wherever I can.
Well, after finishing first on the leaderboard after that first week and now again being a captain here for this week 3, how have those expectations of yourself been different or the same as maybe you had thought coming in?
Honestly, I was really humbled to be able to have the opportunity to be a captain, and same thing this week too. But I honestly just want to keep my expectations the same. Not focus on the leaderboard, not focus on points, because I think the play can take care of itself, you know? If you focus on playing and being present and just doing your job, I think the points and all that will just work out for itself.
For that week 2 draft coming in, you're still figuring everything out, how the leaderboard works, how to draft a team. What was your mindset headed into that draft in week 2?
Honestly, it was a little overwhelming just because, I mean, I'm one of the younger players here, and so it's a little intimidating to be trying to form a team with players that I think are just more experienced and probably better players than me. But it was really fun too, just because there's so many great options. And so I was excited to see just how things kind of shook out and what kind of team we'd end up with. And same thing for this week. I think we had a really good plan. My facilitator, Michelle, really helped me get a really good plan headed into this week of our choices and what we want, and then what we want to focus on as a team. So I'm excited to see how everything goes down.
You've mentioned how you're young. Sometimes you can feel overwhelmed. Who here have you tried to lean on to get comfort?
Honestly, Cass has been amazing. She just brings like this zen to the court. She is such a steady and calm and confident presence. She knows the game so well, and I think there's so much to learn from her, especially just her ball control and her knowledge for the game is just off the charts. So that's someone, especially in my first week when I was on Purple, I loved playing with her and loved just hearing her feedback and just her simple solutions to things. And so she's been awesome. And then playing with Carly this last week, I just think she's like a legend. She's just incredible, and not just as a player, but as like a leader and a person. And she was someone that I loved playing with this last week, because I think there's so much to learn from her on not just how to play, but how to lead and just how to have a really strong presence on the court.
Seems like people have named Cass and Carly as people that they lean on a lot, they can learn a lot from. What's the number one thing you've learned since coming in?
I mean, it's been so much, to be honest. I think from like a volleyball standpoint, I think I'm learning to be smarter, just more strategic with my decisions. But then just from like, I guess like a feeling standpoint, I don't know, emotional standpoint, is just to, I guess, just be present and be calm. Like, I think both of those two players, even though, like, they can be intense on the court, they're still calm, you know, and they're just rooted in that confidence in their preparation because they know this game, and they're always thinking strategically and being really smart, and yeah, just like very level.
Cool, calm, and collected.
Yes,
it seems
and
like
I love it.
that is them.
Like
Cass
that
and
calm
Carly.
confidence, you know?
So much, and you can see that on the court, and it feels like that's kind of been exuded into you, and you can watch you play, and you look so confident out on the court. And,
thank
and I
you.
want to know, what's the biggest difference for you from college to playing professionally here at Athletes Unlimited? What's been the biggest difference, whether that's on the court or off the court?
Honestly, I think on the court, it is so cool to be surrounded by so many talented players that it, like, I think forces me to like raise my level of play. And I feel like the people around me are helping me to play better because everyone's bringing their strengths and carrying different loads, and they make it easier for me to just focus on like my one role or my one job, you know? And so I think it challenges me and also helps me to play better and just rise to the same level that they're playing at.
When you're playing, do you think about the scoring at all? Do you think about the leaderboard during games, or are you just game mode and playing?
Game mode, except for some reason when I go back to serve, that is the one time I think
-12.
I'm like, do not get -12 on the serve. Like, it's the dumbest thing because like you shouldn't go into serving the ball thinking you're gonna miss it. But everything else in the game, I don't even think about it. But when I go back to serve, that's the one time points pop up in my head.
It's so isolated, you know. It's like if I miss this, I either make it or miss it, and maybe they're out of system, maybe they're not, but either way, it could be -12, and that's a lot to think about when you're back there. It feels like a lot of the players coming in, that's the number one thing they say of, when I go back to serve, it's a little added pressure.
Yes, for sure, just because you want to serve tough and you want to be aggressive, but then you have this other voice in your head like, you don't want to get -12 either. So it's finding that balance and learning, I think, to like, even if there is that thought, just to let it pass, you know, and then just get back to like, hey, like, I know how to serve. I've been doing this a long time.
Well, Dani, to finish up here, I want to ask you about your cause. So if you guys don't know, every single athlete here plays for a cause, and yours is Compassion International. So why did you pick that cause to play for?
Yeah, Compassion International, they take this holistic approach to helping children in poverty, and it's like very well-rounded. Like, it's spiritual, economic, socially, and then looking at things from just like a child development standpoint. And what I love about it too is like they're supporting these kids, but for the long term. It's not just in this moment they're giving aid, they're setting kids up for long-term success moving forwards into their life and giving them opportunities to kind of rise above the situation that they're in.
When you're choosing a cause, there are so many bios that you can read, but specifically about them, what drew you in?
Yeah, for me, honestly, I love that it's a Christian organization and it has that aspect of just Christ in it. Like, they're giving children not just physical relief, but also giving them a spiritual aspect to that. And to me, that just hits like close to home, and I love that.
Well, Dani, thank you so much. It's been great watching you kill it out there. Like I said, your confidence is just radiating through the room. So it's been so fun, and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.